Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 4. My name is Xavier Robert. Kabul says education, Nigeria's foremost tool against poverty. Plus, 10 people fear dead as plane hits motorway in... has said education is Nigeria's foremost tool against poverty. Tinubu made the statement today while receiving a delegation from global tech giant Google. He said his administration would leverage digital technology to create Nigeria's desired socio-economic progress that is necessary to transform society, and noted that his administration remained determined to empower the delegates to partner with Nigeria. Said the youths were good and brilliant people, and that his administration takes education very seriously because it is the foremost tool Nigeria has against poverty. Meanwhile, President Tinubu will on Monday, August 21, swear in the newly appointed ministers. The event will hold at the State House Conference Aso Villa in Abuja by 10 a.m. A statement by the Director Information, he, however, listed the ministers and their assigned portfolios to include Minister of Art, Culture and the Creative Economy, Hannatu Musawa, Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaru, Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesam Wike, and Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Betta Edu, among others. Away from that, now the Vice President Kashim Shettima today chaired the National Economic Council across the Federation and other stakeholders. The meeting is expected to address some of the pertinent economic challenges in the country occasioned by the removal of petrol subsidy. Also expected to be discussed. In a separate development, the federal government has pledged continued support for efforts that will rid the country of neglected tropical diseases and TDs, one of which is onchocerciasis, popularly known as river blindness. The National Coordinator, Neglected Tropical Diseases, Federal Ministry of Health, Fatai Oyediran, gave the assurance at the two-week workshop held for entomologists drawn across the 6 geopolitical zones that would support the eradication of the disease in the country. The National Coordinator, while addressing participants at the workshop, said the diseases pose a serious obstacle to the national achievement of universal health coverage. According to him, among all NTDs, Nigeria has the highest burden of onchocerciasis globally, adding that in the efforts to eradicate the disease, academics and researchers have been assisting the government in training program officers. On judicial matters now, with the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos has struck out the illegal possession of firearms charges against the suspended Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele by the federal government. Justice Nicholas Owebo gave the order today following the application of Mohammed Abubakar, the Director of Public Prosecutions DPP in the Ministry of Justice, to withdraw the 2-count charge. Abubakar relied on Section 108 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015, and Emefiele's counsel J.B. Daudu had argued that the prosecution could not withdraw the charge unless the government first purges itself of its disobedience to the court's July 25 order granting Emefiele 20 million naira bail. In his ruling, Justice Owebo granted the application while condemning the government's conduct, which, he said, shows no respect to the rule of law. In another development, the Defense Headquarters DHQ has said that 36 officers were killed in Niger State. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, made this known when he gave a breakdown of casualties in the ambush of troops in Niger State and an evacuation helicopter that crashed on August 14. Buba restated that an investigation is still underway to determine the cause of the helicopter crash in Shiroro local government area of the state and urged citizens to be wary of propaganda by terrorists and remain patriotic. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moeno has pledged his readiness to work beyond party lines with federal civil servants from Akwa Ibom State extraction as permanent secretary and directors at the Akwa Ibom State Liaison Office Abuja emphasized that he was ready and free to interact with his people, assuring that he will create time to attend to the things that will bring benefit to the state. He further encouraged Akwa Ibom in responding to comments raised during the interactive session. The state chief executive maintained that his administration will provide adequate accommodation to Akwa Ibom indigents working with the Federal Civil Service, as well as partner with the Akwa Ibom community in Abuja to start a small housing scheme that will enable indigents resident in the FCT be proud of the state God has given to them. The governor also called for the deepening of the spirit of togetherness and to support his administration to make a better Akwa Ibom. In the meantime, residents of Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital, have again lamented the current economy situation of the country, describing it as high.
Residents of Uyo, while speaking with Spectrum Television, lamented the effect of the fuel subsidy removal on the economy, noting that it has resulted to an increase in the modalities such as functioning refineries should be put in place before subsidy removal.
Economy is something else. I was thinking this new government is coming in to make things easier for us, but the way we're looking at it, I don't think it's like we are from fry pan to fire.
The economy of this country is very, very bad. It's not something to be happy about. You can imagine, is that one a country? Is it a life? It's not a life. So our president will try to do something about it.
As I see the economy of Nigeria, things are getting hard. Some people are suffering. Transportation now, it's hard for people to move from one place to another. And you can see things like food items is costly. So people are suffering.
Other residents, while sharing their experience as a result of the subsidy removal, urged the government to implement social protection measures to mitigate the impact of the subsidy elimination on the vulnerables, such as essential goods and services, subsidies, job creation initiatives, and all sectors.
All the way from Barracks Road to Oran Road, 50 naira we used to pay is now 150, 100 naira. So people are suffering. Look at people, fine guys, fine ladies, old men, old women trekking on the road. So the economic of this country is very poor. We are suffering, hungry. Naira is now 100 naira. Now, present rate of 100 naira is now 150 naira. Tell me, if you don't have what to do, how will you eat?
Life is really hard. Like the fuel situation is actually not ideal again. Life is tough. People are trekking, as you can see. Nobody wants to go through the vehicle because by the place you used to pay maybe 100 naira, and you find it difficult to pay.
Esther Otoyo, Spectrum News.
Now to Africa, where the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has condemned the killing of at least 17 Nigerian soldiers in a recent ambush close to the Mali border. In a statement in response to the killing of the Nigerian soldiers, ECOWAS said that the country had become vulnerable as a result of President Mohamed Bazoum being ousted by the military coup. The West African bloc cautioned the coup plotters about the importance of adhering to its order by re-establishing constitutional order. Still in Africa, more than 60 people reportedly feared dead after a boat carrying migrants from Senegal was found off Cape Verde in West Africa. Reports say 38 people, including children, were rescued on the island of Sao. Meanwhile, Cape Verde officials have called for global action on migration to help prevent further loss of life. On the foreign scene now, a number of people are feared dead after a private jet crashed into a road while attempting to land in Malaysia. Police told newsmen that 2 motorists and 8 people on board were killed when it hit Guthrie Highway near El Mina. The aviation authority, however, did not confirm the toll. The reports say the plane, a Beechcraft Model 390. Still on the foreign scene, the Prime Ministers of Estonia, Kaja Kallas, Latvia, Artis Karins, and Lithuania, Ingrida Simonite, have released a joint statement confirming they are joining the G7 declaration of support for Ukraine. In the signed statement, they noted that only NATO membership will provide Ukraine with security guarantees. The Prime Ministers added that they will work with Ukraine within the multilateral framework to establish security commitments and arrangements that would help Ukraine win the war as soon as possible. Still to come in the news. Right-winger Olise snobs Chelsea, signs new deal at Crystal Palace. Let's start with this. Many thanks for staying tuned. Now, on our business news, the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative (NATI) has announced that Nigeria earned $741.5 billion and 635.3 billion naira from the oil and gas and solid minerals sectors, respectively, between 1999 and 2020. NATI's Executive Secretary, Obonnaya Oji, announced this at a stakeholders roundtable organized by the agency in Abuja for the review and approval of NATI 2021 audit reports for the oil, gas and solid mineral sectors. In his address at the event, Oji stated that Nigeria had spent $74.39 billion, which translates to 13.7 trillion naira, adding that Nigeria spent an average of 805.7 billion naira annually and 67.1 billion naira monthly. So in business, the chairman of Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, Lagos chapter, Bamidele Onalaja, has said that the real estate sector is currently facing soaring inflation, creating a worrying trend and grave impact on the sector. All the government agencies responsible for regulating the economy to work extra hard for the benefit of the common man, adding that shelter was one major factor that could not be done without all over the world. On health news now, the World Health Organization WHO has opened its first summit on traditional medicine today, with the group saying it was seeking to collect evidence and data to allow for the safe use of such treatments. In his remark, the WHO Chief Tedros Ghebreyesus said the agency is working to build the evidence and data to inform policies, standards and regulations for the safe, cost-effective and equitable use of traditional medicine. Tedros, while noting that traditional medicines are a first port of call for millions of people worldwide, said it could bridge healthcare access gaps, but was of value if used appropriately, effectively. Advised people with blood sugar levels that are high, but not up to the level that it can be diagnosed as type 2 diabetes, to avoid consuming junk food. The expert said such individuals have a medical condition known as pre-diabetes, while noting that progression from pre-diabetes to type 2 diabetes is not inevitable. The endocrinologists stressed that it could be reversed through proper diets and exercises. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC), prediabetes is a serious health condition that puts people at increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes, heart diseases and stroke. The CDC noted that Pre-diabetes mostly goes undetected until it progresses into type 2 diabetes, which is considered a very serious health condition. The experts therefore urged people with pre-diabetes to avoid sweetened beverages, alcohol, and over-processed food. They explained that heavily processed foods often contain added sugar, a fast-acting carbohydrate that can quickly spike insulin levels. Now in sports, Michael Olise, a professional footballer who plays as a right winger for Premier League club Crystal Palace, has signed a new 4-year deal at Crystal Palace amid interests from Chelsea. Recall that the news comes a day after it was reported that Chelsea had activated a £35 million release clause in Olise's previous contract with Palace. Taking to social media, co-owner and chairman of Crystal Palace, Steve Parish, announced that Palace are set to hold on to one of their brightest talents for longer. Meanwhile, Olise, who is currently nursing a hamstring injury, has extended his stay in the club. Still in sports, Britain's Beth Porter out-sprinted Cassandra Beaugrand to secure victory in the Paris 2024 triathlon test event. It was the Scots' first ever win in an Olympic distance race. Reports say the win leaves the 31-year-old top of the standings before October's World Triathlon Championship Series finals in Spain. And on entertainment news, Nigerian comedian, actor, compere and skit maker Nosa Folabi, popularly known as Lasisi Elenu, has said stand-up comedy is harder than the art of skit making. Speaking during an interview where he was asked which of the two forms of comedy was harder, he compared the two and noted that stand-up comedy was more difficult. Defending his stance, Lasisi said both stand-up comedy and skit making have a different feel. However, added that there was a lot of pressure in stand-up comedy. Lasisi further stated that even though both forms are lucrative, comedians and skit makers must infuse creativity into their work. Still on entertainment, Nigerian singer Irish Star is set to thrill fans around the globe with her first world tour. The Gen Z princess, as she is fondly called, is embarking on the tour tagged 21, the World Tour. The tour will span 3 continents, America, Africa and Europe, with the North America leg of the tour focusing on the United States and Canada. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng. You've been watching Spectrum News at 4. My name is Xavier Robert. Do enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.